Welcome back, boys. This is part 2 of how to ruin your next relationship. Last week we covered 3 of those ways. Today we're going into 4 and 5. And stay tuned till the end because we're going to talk about how to avoid women who do not respond well when you do these things the right way. So let's dive right in to shark-infested waters. The 4th way to ruin your next relationship is to argue with her. This is a tricky one, and yes, I know you can't always avoid arguments, but just as it is your job as her man to set the tone of the relationship with dates, flirting, and making the relationship decisions, it is also your job to set the tone and energy of the house. Peace and conversation is good energy, arguing and fights are not. But contrary to what society tells us is, quote, normal in relationships, there is actually a middle ground between arguing and being submissive, tiptoeing around, and avoiding confrontation with her just to keep the peace. We don't want to do either of those. Arguing creates crappy energy. Keeping your mouth shut doesn't give you equal say and makes her lose respect for you. The answer is to not allow it to escalate beyond a disagreement. Allow me to explain. This progression is linear. Conversation, disagreement, then argument, and then finally a fight. So let's dive into the disagreement stage. A disagreement is where the two of you can't agree on a specific thing, and they are 95% logical and maybe 5% emotional. If you can't figure it out in a short amount of time, it can turn into an argument. Arguments are 75% emotional and 25% logical. Big jump, right? If that doesn't get resolved, now you have a fight on your hands. And fights are, you guessed it, 100% emotional. There is no resolving a fight unless you guys detach, cool off, and then come back to it later in the form of a disagreement. But so how do we avoid arguing with her? When you're in a disagreement and you can sense it's getting ready to boil over into an argument, you need to back up and say something like, well, hang on, babe. I don't want this to turn into an argument. Let's take it back a bit. And then, this is the most crucial part. You ready? You say to her, tell me what you need, or tell me why you're upset, etc. Ask her to communicate her stance first. Now, don't be alarmed. You're still going to tell her what you need. You're just going to listen to her first. Why do we do this? 2 main reasons. 1, this is how you lead. You can't say, let's back up a bit and then start presenting your argument. This is just going to piss her off. You are in charge of the mood of the house. You are making the first step towards resetting that energy. Number 2, letting her get it off her chest is most likely going to, dare I say, calm her down because she will feel heard and understood. Humans argue and fight because they don't feel heard, and that is extremely frustrating to anyone. Remember, you are leading the interaction and you set the tone. Yes, even if you have to wait a few minutes by listening before you present your side of the conversation. So listen to what she has to say first. She's most likely going to tell you how she feels as well as the actual thing that she has an issue with. When she's done, you must address her feelings first, and then you can present your side. That's really important. As we've discussed in prior episodes, feminine energy is the most beautiful thing in the world, but it is highly in tune with emotions and energy, both hers and yours. If there is any sort of friction, it's going to upset and overwhelm her more than it will you until you give her that opportunity to get rid of it. And she rids herself of that stress when she can express to you how she feels, and she feels that you understand her. So, quick example. When she is talking, you are listening. Validate her feelings and apologize if needed. When she settles down, she will be more receptive to you. Then you can say something like, okay, I understand you now. This is why I think this should be done this way. And or, I know I said this and it was wrong of me to say that and I'm sorry. But you said this and that's something that I don't like. And then see what she says after that. Go from there. 9 times out of 10, this method is going to settle her back down so she can listen to you. You may even find out that she wasn't even upset at you. Let her talk and uncover as many facts as you can before you determine the best way to resolve it. Us guys are fixers, but before anything can be fixed, we have to listen first. If it fails, just rinse and repeat by asking more clarifying questions and digging deeper. Notice that you shouldn't try to tell her what you need until you quell her negative emotions. That is how you resolve disagreements before they turn ugly. You are guiding the conflict resolution process. We can't expect our girl to be the conflict resolution leader. You are her rock. Here's the harsh reality of arguments. They are a massive waste of time and energy. It drains your energy to get all hyped up and start raising your voice, trying to argue some sense into her while she's trying to argue sense into you. The main thing is that by this point, negative emotions have taken control of the interaction, and there is almost no way logic can help resolve that issue. Heavy negative emotions impede a human's ability to make rational decisions. And so how the hell are we supposed to resolve an argument this way? Spoiler alert, you can't. And no, this does not mean you are supposed to control her emotions or that you have to excuse her poor actions. You just have to give her room to talk first. She feels your love when you listen and understand. Do you want a negative, chaotic energy in the house? Yeah? Cool. Go ahead and let your emotions control your interactions with her and watch your relationship turn sour real quick. If not, then learn to recognize when those disagreements are turning south and back up. Always seek to understand and then to be understood. If you ask her what she needs, she will feel heard and understood. She will be much more willing to help you out. She will be open to hearing criticism too, as opposed to trying to force her to understand your stance in the middle of a heated argument when both of you are just closed off. And if you guys think this is impossible, take it from me. I've gone through anger management. This is just basic conflict resolution stuff that I learned. This method works. And if I can do it, you most certainly can. Now, what do we do when she's just being ridiculous, unreasonable, and acting like her mother? Starting arguments out of nowhere, and when you try to ask her those good questions, she just gets worse. Well, sometimes the issue isn't you. And we're going to cover that at the end. So that was number 4, arguing. Don't do it. And I know no one's perfect. Sometimes arguments happen. You might slip sometimes. But the more you practice keeping it at the disagreement stage and backing up, if it starts to boil over, the more it will become second nature. You can't always keep the peace, but you can always prevent it from getting out of hand. It starts with you. All right, finally, number 5, if you want to ruin your next relationship, ignore her. This can come in many forms, and I've known tons of women who have complained about this. If you want her to feel unloved, unimportant, distant, upset, and cold, don't respond to her when she needs something. This can be anything from ignoring a phone call, a text, ignoring her when she's talking to you, ignoring her when she's upset, when you're relaxing, when she needs your validation, when she needs something in the relationship that she doesn't even know how to express to you. So let's break each one of those down. Phone calls and texts. Yes, there are times when you can't pick up the phone. Some jobs have no phone policies, you may be in a meeting, etc. But for everything else, we have to at least answer and table the conversation for another time if it's not super important. Make it short and sweet, either through call or text. Something simple like, hey babe, great to hear from you. I'm super busy right now, so unless this is super important, I'm going to have to call you back. Next one, when she's talking to you. Us dudes are one-track minded for the most part, especially if we're busy. If you're in the middle of something else and she needs something, ask her to wait a sec for you to finish your thing so you can give her your full attention. And don't just say, hang on one sec. Say something like, hold that thought, babe. Let me finish this real quick so I can give you my full attention. And if you say that, I guarantee she won't have a problem with it. Next one, ignoring her when she's upset. This is a tricky one and it comes with a huge caveat. Don't ignore her when she's upset, especially at you, even if she's being unreasonable. Listen to her, let her say her thing, and then respond appropriately. Now, if you're busy at work or even out with your buddies, still acknowledge her and say something like, hey babe, I'm out right now, but I promise we'll talk about this later when I get home. I'll be home in a couple hours. The last thing you should do is step out of work or away from your buds to talk to your angry woman. And I know some of you are thinking, but wait, Chris, don't we need to take care of her emotions? Yes, we do. But there is a time and place, and you need to set that up. You're doing your own thing, and she needs to respect that for the moment. By tabling the conversation for a time in the near future instead of ignoring her or interrupting your thing, you're probably going to make her more mad, but here's the thing. It's 10 times harder and inappropriate in some circumstances to try and hammer it out over the phone. Talk to her in person the next time you're with her. She's not going to break up with you because she's mad at you for an extra hour. Resolve these conflicts at home in private. And don't even think about text arguing with her. I see tons of couples do this, and it always turns into a bigger fight than it really needs to be when they finally meet back up in person. Don't be a coward and hide behind your phone keyboard. Talk to her face to face whenever you get home. You'll be demonstrating strength, and you're going to resolve it 10 times faster. Moving on, ignoring her when you're relaxing. I get it. I know what it's like to work 12 hours, come home, shower, finally sit down on the couch, and then she immediately asks you to go do something. Don't just say, I'll do it later. In this instance, you have to give her a solid time frame unless it's something that's really pressing. And this is mainly for like innocuous things like taking out the trash. Instead of saying, I'll get to it later, leave me alone, I'm relaxing. Say something like, I hear you, babe, I totally forgot to take it out this morning, my bad. I'll take it out in 30 minutes. And then you stick to that commitment. Next, ignoring her when she needs your validation. This is another tricky one, and it's actually an advanced relationship dynamic element. If you sense her energy change from positive or even neutral to negative, it's probably because she was looking for some sort of validation from you. Like, if you sit down to eat her meal and you don't say thank you or that the food is delicious, or if she gets back from the salon and her hair is done, or she's wearing something nice, or puts effort into her appearance in any way. Us guys can be totally oblivious to these things, I get it. We have to be aware of her putting effort into looking good, making us good meals when she cooks, etc. We also have to validate her when she tells us about something that happened. Let's say that she was late to work and got chewed out for it. And if you just say, well, you shouldn't have been late, there's the fix to your problem right there, babe. If you say that, you're ignoring the fact that she's upset for getting reprimanded. If you start out with, I'm sorry you got yelled at for that, babe, I'd be upset too. You're validating her feelings. You can then say something constructive like, is there anything I can do to help you get to work on time? This tells her that you're concerned for her job stability, but you're not just going to be another boss telling her that she messed up. You are her supportive partner. Partners help each other with these things. Now for unspoken relationship things, let me clear one thing up. No one is a mind reader. She can't just expect you to know what she needs from you in the relationship without her telling you. But, and this is a big one, if you notice her starting to become distant or moody or dismissive and everything else is going well, you cannot ignore that. Sometimes it's a bigger thing she needs as far as the relationship goes. Maybe she's not happy with you not putting effort into chores. Maybe it's that you guys haven't gone on a date in a while. Maybe it's something new that she needs and she had no idea that she was even thinking about it. Either way, if you notice her overall energy around you start to change, take some time and talk to her. Don't just ask, what's wrong with you? Actually sit down with her over a drink or something and tell her, hey, I've noticed that you've been kind of distant lately. Is everything okay? And see where it goes. You can also ask her, is there anything you need from me? Remember that there is emotion underneath the surface, and if she isn't directly telling you, it's going to come out in her nonverbals. The first sign that you can look for is the way she looks at you. If she used to smile even a little bit whenever you walked into the room for the first few years of the relationship, and now she's looking annoyed or bored whenever she sees you, dead giveaway. Pay attention to her nonverbals and especially her energy. It will tell you a lot. So that was number 5. Ignore her in those ways if you want to ruin your next relationship. Alrighty then, so we've covered those 5 ways and the healthy alternatives to them. Remember that you may not always remember to do things the right way, but the key is to practice so it becomes second nature. These are just 5 of hundreds of hidden masculine traits that we're uncovering on this podcast, and each one is going to give you a leg up in your next relationship. All right. Now we have to talk about what to do if you find yourself with a woman who doesn't respond well to those healthy alternatives. If you are ever with a woman who doesn't feel closer to you when you date her in the relationship, doesn't feel happy when you flirt with her in the relationship, always tries to make the relationship decisions and doesn't let you lead, becomes more difficult when you try and listen to her before an argument starts, and constantly demands your attention during inappropriate times with no regards to your time, guess what? You are with a low quality woman. Could be in the form of a personality disorder, toxicity, misandry, or just a domineering personality that wants her man to be a doormat so she can be in total control. A healthy woman, a high quality woman, does not do these things. And when you get back into the dating pool, you're going to see this if you haven't already. If you're doing everything right, at the very least as far as this two-part series is outlining, a healthy woman will respond well to it, and you will have the confidence that putting a ring on her finger eventually is going to be the right move. She will appreciate you doing her part, and she will respond by doing her part. Now, will she be perfect? Of course not, but neither will you. The key here is to aim for 90%. If she has a poor response to these things every once in a while, it's not a deal breaker. But you might come across women who never respond to these things well, and that's what you should avoid. Those are the types that date toxic guys. They need that sort of drama in their life in order to feel normal. Yuck, right? Yeah, and guess what? If you try to be Captain Save-A-Ho, you are going to become the next focus of her drama. She will rope you into all sorts of bullshit that is going to drive you nuts and quite possibly ruin your life, or at least your reputation. I know some of you are nodding your head thinking of women like this that you've experienced. There is no shame in that, and please don't beat yourself up for not knowing any better. Here's the catch, though. Well, there's actually two. Number one, these women might still respond well when you first start dating her. Give it a few months, however, and her true colors will start to show. If red flags start popping up, you'll need to determine how much of that you can tolerate before it becomes a deal breaker. If she stays consistently good for a few months all the way to a couple of years into the relationship, you'll know you picked a winner. Number two, a lot of low-quality women use sex to rope you in. They start off hot and heavy, blowing your mind every single night. But once she can sense that you're getting comfortable with her, she will work in the drama and the BS that will drag you down. She'll pull away, causing you to chase, and now you're in a loop of focusing on what it will take to keep her around and keep her pants off. By then, however, you're going to be out of focus on your own life. Unlike a healthy woman who won't play those stupid games with you. Yes, you can still find a beautiful, sexy, feminine woman who isn't a dumpster fire. There are tons of high-quality women who are exactly your type waiting to meet a stud like you. Taking time on your own to build yourself back up after a breakup or divorce before you decide to hop back into the dating pool is going to drastically increase the chances of you meeting one. The truth is, you want a healthy relationship. Why would you be with someone who doesn't? And this won't come out in the form of direct communication. You'll never hear a low-quality woman say, "Oh, I just thrive on drama. Making your life difficult makes me feel good about myself and satisfies my need for toxicity. I don't actually want a healthy relationship with you." You're going to find out through her behavior and how she treats you and how she responds to you trying to maintain the relationship. Furthermore, your badass comeback means you're probably going to be really busy at times, hitting bigger goals, working on your health, money, family, relationship. You're going to need a woman who can support you while you support her. You're going to need a woman who gives you room to accomplish these amazing things. Not every woman you meet is going to be okay with this. She may not want you to become badass for whatever stupid, selfish reason. The wrong woman will sabotage your future, your everything. She will intentionally keep you distracted with bullshit that you don't need to be dealing with. And if that's the case, you are not the guy for her. Let her go so she can find that toxic dude who will feed into that shit with her. A really good example of this is a guy I used to know very well. He went through a rough breakup that hit him really hard, but he picked himself back up, started marching a pretty badass path. He was back in the gym, sharpening his skills in his job where he used to be one of the best around. Companies were offering him big money to work for them. He even made plans to start a charity, teaching young kids his craft for free. I had never seen him so happy and accomplished and full of life. But then, he got involved with a super low-quality woman. And she was hot, don't get me wrong, but in a matter of months, his goals and dreams were dead, along with the life in his eyes. And it was extremely tough to watch. Don't let that be you. Be as picky as you need, and never be afraid to break things off, especially if all you're really gonna miss is her power of persuasion. Guys, the next woman in your life is going to be the most important decision you make, equally as important as you deciding to make a comeback in the most badass way possible. Take the relationship concepts from this podcast with you. I've dumped so much of my time into figuring out masculine and feminine dynamics, and I've also wasted a bunch of time with the wrong women. What you learn here will put you a cut above 99% of guys out there. Stay on your badass path and you will soon find yourself with a high-quality woman who is proud to walk beside you. All right, I'm leaving you guys with a quote from Salma Hayek when she was talking about her husband in an interview. Quote, "We support each other in everything we do. We want the other one to strive. It makes you happy when the other one strives." See you guys next week. Thank you for joining me in another badass episode, brother. If you want to accelerate into this new chapter in your life and get a boost into your badass journey, sign up for a free 45-minute consultation for post-breakup or divorce coaching. All the info is in the episode description. Also, please remember to like and comment, and if you know anyone who could use this info in their badass journey, please share this episode with them. None of this will be possible without you guys, so thank you again, and I will see you in the next episode.